Y'all, today we need to talk about some crazy news that just came out about Wallaru's release into test realm. If you guys don't know, the next big world on Wiz is going to be called Wallaru. If you've been living under a rock, there you go. And yesterday, in the test realm Discord, someone was guessing that yesterday might have been the day that Wallaru released into test realm. Now, this might seem like a rogue guess. Why would a big major world be released into test realm mid-October? And I'd be lying if I told you guys that I expected it yesterday. I normally set my alarm on the day that I think test realm is going to drop. But one of the community managers for Wiz, Spark, actually responded and said it was a good guess and that it was actually initially planned to release yesterday, but that was a while ago, and I assume scheduling errors and all these things happen, and now it's not. Now, why am I making a whole ass video about this? I actually think this is much bigger news than it looks like on the surface. Right, at face value, you might just look at it and be like, okay, big whoop, test realm's not this week, yada yada. But the fact that we're even having this conversation in October, it says quite a bit. I think one question that I always get a lot in my comments, on videos, stream chat, all that jazz is, yo, Wizard101 got acquired by this big company. What are all the effects that this is gonna have? And one of my answers used to be that, yo, I really think the scope of their updates is huge, but it really seems like their updates are getting later and later. And if you look at when they released their major updates last year, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. The first raid that Wizard101 released, that was last summer. That was supposed to be the summer update. It hit live realm like I want to say mid-August. And who can forget about the fact that Novus, the last, you know, big update last year, test realm was, I want to say, maybe like closer to mid-November, and live realm was in December. And this is like a crazy time for a fall update to drop. This used to be the fall update. In fact, again, please quote me if I'm wrong, because I've had to go through a lot of dates and I'm really bad with dates, but I'm pretty sure the last time we actually had a world release in test realm as early as October was back when Imperia was released. It hasn't happened all of Arc 4. And that's a super interesting development, right? Their adherence to like a very strict schedule while putting out pretty big updates. Like the Meyer update, maybe not the biggest, but the summer update had tons of things. And it's looking like the Wallaru update's gonna be the biggest one of the year simply off of the jewel audit. They're doing really ambitious things and still staying to somewhat of a good schedule compared to last year. This is just from a player's perspective. Obviously, maybe, you know, maybe they had goals that they're not reaching. I don't really know. I'm just happy that we're receiving this not in December if it's live realm. So what it suggests to me is that maybe last year they were probably like, you know, maybe adapting to the fact that there's a whole new, I don't know, like work expectation, work environment. There's a big like company acquiring KingsIsle. And this year it just seems like not only have they settled in, it looks like there's a better schedule. A lot of people have had a lot of critiques on what they felt were unpolished updates in the past few years. And while I think that's true to an extent, let's say that you were to release, you know, Wallaru and it had a couple of bugs when it hit live realm, similar to Novus in the final boss fight. I feel like at least now they'll actually have maybe 1 or 2 hotfix windows to fix these things before they go on break for December. I feel like that might actually be a thing this time around. One of my biggest pet peeves, and this is just my honest, transparent truth, and this has nothing to do with the people that work at KingsIsle. This is just the way the world works. My biggest pet peeve is when they do an update at the end of the year, and then obviously, you know, these are all human beings, right? They gotta go on break in December. But sometimes there are literally bugs that make the game almost unplayable for some people. When Lemuria dropped, there was a really whack, I will bring this up till the day I die, but there was a whack-ass glitch with Rain of Torrents. It used to be called, you know, Storm Scion. But basically, instead of clearing those blades for the ×2 condition to do 25-100 damage, it would just literally use any blade you had on you, and it would do double damage as long as you had 4 blades on you. It worked like no other gambit in the game. It was extremely OP, and that was left in all the way through December because Lemuria was released so late. They released Lemuria, had a game-breaking bug, in my opinion, fairly game-breaking. It ruined PvP for well over a month, and they could only really patch it out of the game in like January, I want to say. A very similar thing happened with Novus, right? Like, and this I think is more recent, so probably more people remember it. The final boss, you could use a glitch in order to basically just skip it. You didn't even have to do the polymorph fight. You could just go in, and I think you could do like some weird late join, stagger join, something weird. I never did it, so I don't really know. But you do something weird, and basically everyone gets unpolymorphed, or at least I think the person who late joins gets unpolymorphed. They AoE, GG, it's done. I think we've seen recently, especially with the raid stuff, that when confronted with a bug that makes farming, you know, not a thing, people will always take advantage of it. Whether it's the dev's fault, the player's fault. I feel like we've had this convo until we've beaten this convo to death. But it would be really, really nice if they started releasing worlds where even if there was a bug, they actually had a window to fix it, so the game actually feels good to play across like a period as important as the holidays. That's a crazy high expectation, especially for a world like Wallaru that's gonna end the whole arc. I totally get that. But it would be nice, and I feel like that's something that maybe they're gonna do more, and as a player, that just makes me really, really happy. And I'm not bringing up, by the way, I do want to clarify this, I'm not bringing up the glitches and bugs from Lemuria Novus. I'm not using this as an opportunity to dunk on them or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing. I do it sometimes. I'm not doing it right now. The point of the matter is, it's a no-win situation when glitches find their way into major updates at a time like this. This is Q4 we're talking about. If you're a video game company, you want an update like this to be amazing. It's not a good reflection on the game or anybody when there's a glitch that finds its way all the way through December and you can only fix it in January. And let's be very, very honest. We've seen this recently when a small section of the community has access to a glitch or exploit simply because they know that it exists, simply because they're willing to do it. It divides the community. There will be people that disagree with its use. There will be people that agree with its use. There will be people that say it's the player's fault. There will be people that say it's the dev's fault. This is the world we live in. I doubt that there will ever be a scenario where everyone will agree on this. But very often when stuff like that finds its way into the game, what it does, it divides the community, and obviously it doesn't help the company that's releasing this update. It doesn't make them look good either. So if this is purely for having the wiggle room to address things like this in the game and just accept that, people make mistakes and, the game's gonna come out with a bug or two, I'm more than happy with this approach. I don't mind if the live update comes out with a bug or two because it's almost unavoidable when you have updates this big. We gotta start remembering that, like, Novus came out with a world update and also introduced Arch Mastery. Wallaru's gonna come out, and it's also gonna introduce an entire jewel audit. I think it's really cool that they're keeping a pace, and yet they're also doing it early. I just think that's a cool takeaway to get out of whatever this little tidbit of info we got from this Discord is. Now, the big question remains, when is Wallaru gonna release in a test realm? Based off of this news alone, right? This is probably what most people are wondering. I feel like everyone's excited. Guys, I want to say, obviously, this is a dumb answer. It could be any day now, though. I feel like it's not outside the realm of possibility that this October, maybe late October, last week of October, there could be test realm. Maybe next week, although it seems like if they aimed for this week a while ago, quote unquote, I don't know how long a while ago is, but I assume they've probably fallen more than a week behind if this was their initial goal a while ago. I could be fully wrong, but normally it drops on like a Tuesday or a Monday, I think. So like, make sure that you got like, your calendars booked. If all you got out of this is a test realm's coming soon, that's great. Test realm is coming soon. This is basically confirmed. Now, does this mean it's definitely releasing in October? No, that's not the takeaway before anyone no. But I really think late October, early November, it looks very likely from my perspective. If I'm wrong, well, you'll know. You'll know if I'm wrong. But I'd love to hear y'all's opinions on the fact that we might get such an early Wallaru release. What do you guys think that says about maybe things that are changing? What do you guys think this might do when it comes to like bugs that find their way into Wallaru? I'd love to hear all of y'all's thoughts and opinions on the impending release of Wallaru. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub review, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.